get the feeling you've been cheated.
Never work. Only fools work. To degrade oneself with labor is to deny the perfection of God's creation. Work is hell, which is ignorance. Trust in God and never work. Never work save achieving your inmost desire. That is the only holy vocation. For those truly free in spirit, no crime is a crime, no sin a sin. It is only by the worst sins we prove ourselves incapable of stain. Do not mistake your desires for sins. To abstain from your innermost desire, that is the only sin. God's creation is perfection. Do not put heaven in a frame, point to it in the sky. The world is filled with our desires, and we deny fulfillment. The market, my brothers, the market is flooded with desires it was not built to satisfy. But God knows all. Whatever the eye sees, let the heart covet. And what the heart covets, let the hand take. I take my desires for reality, because I believe in the reality of my desires. And lo, a hand was sent unto me, and a roll of a book was therein. It was the word of God. And the Lord saith, I overturn, overturn, overturn. Who has caused desires to be sins? Who has caused the highest creature, the greatest creation, to work as a worm in the dirt? Who has killed mankind?
Who killed Bambi? The market is flooded with desires. It was not built to satisfy. Well, no, that's quite a thing, isn't it? Just imagine, for the sake of conversation, or should I say argument, that one could change the market. What if one could infect the market with its own means of self-destruction? Indeed, the story you've just seen is true. The name of this particular heretic is John of Leyden, publicly tortured to death. His corpse hung in a cage over the city of Munster is a sermon in itself. The cage is still there, but John of Leyden is gone. Thank you, Ian, you were marvelous. So, in 1534, a dreadful year, I'm sure, the corruption of work is announced by one John of Leyden. Many years later, in 1975, yet another dreadful year, the work of corruption is begun by John E. Leyden. Mere coincidence, perhaps? I certainly prefer to think of it that way, serendipity, if a man such as myself can use such a word, is where you find it. We suggested young Johnny try the rotten moniker all the same. Wouldn't want confusion in our chaos, now would we? Certainly not. You must pardon my rudeness. My name is Malcolm McLaren. Apparently I created the Sex Pistols. And yes, it would seem I have been accused of creating all of punk rock, really. Well, not the music, if you could even call a racket like that music. However, the movement, the culture, perhaps I did have a hand in all of that. A note to biographer, everything related to youth culture flows from rock and roll, fashion, fashion, slang, sexual styles, drug habits. This most bizarre market is completely organized and validated by it. It would seem that young people feel that schism between what life promises and what it delivers most keenly. Youth revolt is the key to social revolt. And what could be more revolting than the rock and roll? You help them create a subculture and sell it back. It's a classic strategy I like to call cash from chaos. More subversive than your Motown platter pusher. I've been accused of bearing a critique of the purchase in the product. Now, that would be the stroke of a genius. Nonetheless, the market has never ever been the same. And Johnny, poor credulous Johnny Rottenquist, feeling he's been cheated, claiming that in my lust for fame and money, I betrayed everything the Sex Pistols ever stood for. And what was that? Who killed Bambi?
Good evening, and welcome to Lipstick Traces. It's going to be fine. It's going to be difficult, but it'll be fine. I just wanted to rest assure you that it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult for me because I believe it, but it's going to be fine. Difficult and fine. Difficult for me and fine for you. I'm a narrator. I have a PhD in it. Now, I'm not a character, I'm a narrator, which is difficult. I'm non-fiction, but I'm not real. The stories you will see tonight are true. We have a show for you tonight. It is not for theater goers at all, but for others who unfortunately couldn't make it, but what else is there to put on? I'm going to tell you things, you'll see. But first, welcome again. Good evening. It's going to be fine. The story you have just seen is true. Malcolm McLaren, manager and self-proclaimed mastermind behind the Sex Pistols. Thank you, David. I'm not going to explain to you who the Sex Pistols are. We have to assume some things, right? I mean, every story doesn't start with Adam and Eve and explain the evolution of all humanity just to be certain the characters don't confuse you. Lipstick Traces is not a psychological portrait. This is the chronicle, the genealogy, if you will, of an impulse. A very clear and unambiguous impulse, a near absolute loathing of one's time and place. It's an impulse which can be charted and explained quite clearly and unambiguously, beginning in, oh well, let's just begin in 1210 with the cult of the free spirit, handed down through various heretics, popping up again with the French Revolution and Saint-Just got his head chopped off. This impulse is most clearly manifest for us in our recently deceased 20th century. While the century has died, we're still caught in it. The millennium has 3 holes in it we can jump through, namely the Dada art movement at the century's beginning, the Latriste and Situationist in the middle, with whom or which, depending, Malcolm had loose ties before introducing us to punk rock, or specifically the Sex Pistols, or even more specifically still Johnny Rotten at the end. It is perhaps complicated, but repeated through history.
Well, that's the trouble with history. It repeats itself, which is boring. And what are the politics of boredom, eh?
Thank you, Malcolm. You must begin with Dada, and Dada began here and now. The sign on the door reads My Rai Bar. The sign on the map reads Zurich. Check your watch, it's 1916. This is the place where Dada was born, or the place it came to die. And now, without further ado, I present to you Hugo Ball, who missed the war by the skin of his teeth. Tristan Zara, who ground his teeth to points. And Richard Hulsenbeck, the man with a corpse in his mouth, who will in turn present their...